Hello everyone, I'm Linda, and I've just completed all my general education courses. Next year, I'll be majoring in economics, diving into specialized subjects soon. While I'm aware the competitive nature of my field may kick in, I'm also contemplating graduate school. Thankfully, my parents are supportive of whichever path I choose, and I genuinely appreciate that. We're fortunate financially, thanks to my dad's hard work in building a successful business from the ground up. Although I don't want to boast, I'm grateful that we've never struggled financially, and once I secure a job, I'm determined to repay my parents for their kindness. However, despite how great my life may seem, I face my own challenges, primarily revolving around my brother and his wife. William is 10 years older than me, and to be honest, we've never really clicked. Friends often say that siblings of different genders with a significant age gap don't communicate much. But William and I have always talked. Yet, we're not particularly close. Hey, Kane, could you grab some comics for me? And don't forget a notebook for studying. Use your own allowance. Of course. Oh, and pick up a drink while you're at it. For years, I've been running errands like this. My parents would intervene when they were home, but since they both work, I often comply out of fear. This dynamic hasn't changed now that I'm an adult. If anything, it feels worse. Everything shifted last year when William married Jessica, who was the same age as him. She's beautiful, but rather cold. I took an instant dislike to her, and it turns out my instincts were spot on. You have a sister whose family is well off. I wonder if Caitlin could chip in $10,000 as a wedding gift, she suggested once. Jessica has constantly pressured me, even though I'm still in school. Thankfully, my parents stepped in. Kate is a student living at home. Her gift can match ours. Sure, we'll add a little extra. But my brother and Jessica were still unhappy. That's not fair. You're an adult. You need to contribute, Jessica insisted. Exactly. We'll be family for a long time, so you should step up. In the end, I gave them the money my parents had planned for me just to avoid any drama. Honestly, both William and Jessica are incredibly greedy. I hoped to keep my distance, but they continue to invade our home, despite my wishes, and never miss a chance to jab at me for living at home while going to college. Still living at home? You don't plan to be a burden forever, do you? I don't want a sister who's useless. Seriously, even if your college is nearby. It's so uncool. Why not move out? You'd save us on utilities and groceries. Plus, there'd be more inheritance for us. This from someone who commuted from home to college and even had to repeat 2 years. Jessica's comments were just as insensitive. While my parents are still healthy and working, she's already talking about inheritance. It's just thoughtless. I've been biting my tongue because I know anything I say will only provoke them further. Things took a turn for the worse when they started bringing their belongings to our home. Despite living only 30 minutes away in a spacious apartment, clothes and knickknacks kept appearing. William, why are you bringing this stuff here? You have your own home, I exclaimed. My mom finally intervened. This stuff is in the way. My brother shrugged it off. This is my home too. What's the big deal? Besides, Kane has more stuff here. Kane lives here. Of course, she replied. Well, I'm also a child of this house. Don't play favorites. There's nothing wrong with keeping our stuff here. Jessica is part of my family, so she belongs here too. Exactly. Future in-laws, they chimed in. William will eventually inherit everything. We might as well start now, right? They kept dismissing my parents' concerns. Then, one morning, I woke up to heavy footsteps. The house was bustling with burly men following my brother and Jessica as they began moving things around. It looked like they had hired them. What should we do with this one? One of the men asked. Just leave that, but take that one away, William instructed. Got it. The men proceeded to move drawers belonging to my parents and me, even taking my college textbooks and daily essentials. Hey, what are you doing? Stop this right now, I shouted. Well, we were hired by them, one of the men replied, gesturing towards William and Jessica. No matter what I said, they didn't listen, even when I complained directly. They just looked to my brother and Jessica, clearly confused. Apparently, they were being paid a handsome sum for this job. Before I knew it, all my vital belongings were out of the house, loaded into a truck parked outside. Oh, Kane, don't worry about your money. We'll make good use of it. And please take those two old folks with you. You can keep your wallet. We're not heartless. We've rented a temporary apartment for you to stay with Mom and Dad. 2 weeks' rent is covered. You'll be going there for now. We've arranged for your stuff to be delivered, William announced casually. What? You can't do this, I protested. But before I could voice another complaint, they shoved me and my parents into the yard. I stood there, stunned, staring at the house I had called home just moments before. Snapping back to reality, I realized I couldn't just stand there, paralyzed. I'm an adult now, not a kid needing my parents' protection. I'll have to put college on hold for a bit and find a part-time job to get by. I wonder where my bank book and seal ended up. It would be nice if my brother had set aside some basic funds for me, but I can't afford to worry about that now. The only option is to head to the temporary apartment they mentioned. It's okay, Dad, Mom, I'm not a kid anymore, I reassured them, glancing back at my parents. They looked even more stunned than I felt, clearly feeling betrayed by my brother. I realized it was up to me to lift their spirits. To my surprise, my expectations were shattered in the best possible way. When I turned around, I saw both of them smiling. Well, that went better than I expected, Dad said with a grin. Faster than I thought it would, Mom added. Wait, what's happening? I asked, confusion creeping in. It turned out they had been suspicious of my siblings' scheme all along. From the moment William and Jessica first moved their things in, they had been anticipating a day like this. Listen, Kane, people like that won't stop no matter what you say. If anything, they'll dig their heels in deeper when faced with reason, Dad explained. Exactly. You can't confront people like William directly. Instead, let them think they've succeeded in their little game. That's when they let their guard down. And you can make your move, Mom chimed in. So, this was all part of your plan? I asked, incredulous. Their smiles widened at my question. Look, your dad didn't build a company from scratch for nothing. It's time to teach you some skills that have supported your dad, Kane. I'll show you what it really means to handle people, Mom explained. They suggested we head to the weekly apartment for now. I thought we were going straight home to confront my siblings, but apparently not. Following Dad's lead, I walked as if I were deeply disheartened. I feel like we're being followed, I whispered. Don't worry, Kane, just act like you don't notice. People like William and Jessica thrive on tormenting their prey. They'll probably report back to someone that we look downcast. Just keep acting defeated, Mom advised. Taking their advice to heart, I made my way to the apartment. Once inside, they announced with enthusiasm. Okay, most of the plan is a success. Now it's time to counterattack William and his crew. On Mom's cue, Dad made a call. Proceed as planned, he instructed. Speaking to a moving company, it seemed one of Dad's trusted employees was ready to oversee the operation. Movers started streaming into our home. Boss, everything is going as planned. Your son and daughter-in-law seem to be in shock, reported one of the movers. I expected nothing less. Carry on, Dad replied over the phone, providing live commentary. Apparently, the movers had been prepped by Dad on which items to take. The sound of safes and valuables being relocated filled the air. What the heck? You can't just burst into someone's house like this. What's the big idea? William shouted, confusion etched on his face. Really? You want me to call the police? Jessica threatened. No, we're just here on the homeowner's request. Hey, could you move, please? You're in our way. Wait a minute. That's my safe with my bank book in it. Where are you taking that? William demanded. Your father requested this. We're moving it to the new house. What's going on? Jessica asked, bewildered. I was just about to check the combination. William protested. It's your father's wish. And by the way, William, it's telling that you, his own son, don't even know the safe combination. Clearly, you're not trusted, one of the movers pointed out. Shut up. You're just an employee. Wait, that jewelry belongs to my mother-in-law. What are you doing with it? William yelled. This is under the vice president's order. We're taking this to the new home. If you damage it, you'll be billed for it. What? Stop. I can't afford that. Then please don't get in the way. About an hour later, the commotion subsided, and one of the employees reported, Mr. President, Vice President, all arrangements are complete. Sorry to bother you on your day off. It's no trouble at all. Thank you, Dad replied. He hung up and turned to me. Let's go to our real home. He led me to a mansion that was just as lavish as our old home, actually even grander. What is this place? I asked, astonished. Our new home. Yes, the security is even tighter. William won't be able to get in so easily. What about the old house? I quietly sold it. A broker will step in tomorrow. And what about William and Jessica? Don't know, don't care. They might get kicked out, but it was never their home to begin with. They'll be fine. Exactly. Now we have a busy day ahead with the move. We need to get everything done by tonight. Mom encouraged. We all began to work, taking stock of the new house's layout and organizing our rooms and living spaces. By nightfall, we had finished everything. I was too exhausted to think about William and drifted into a deep sleep. The next morning, after a refreshing rest, my parents explained everything. Apparently, they had foreseen this day ever since William got married. William is just like that, and I suspected Jessica would be too, so I had a backup plan all along. Originally, I planned to move into this house anyway. It's a secret even from William, allowing us to live here in peace. What about my brother? I can't imagine they'd keep quiet after all this. You're right, it seems William and the gang are quite disgruntled, but we have a top-notch lawyer at our company. It's clear who's in the wrong here, don't you think? Absolutely. As it turns out, Dad's legal consultant reached out to my brother. If they attempted to harm us further, they'd be sued. Upon hearing this, my brother gave up on trying to take over our old home. They were left high and dry. But that wasn't all. My brother couldn't land a job after college and had been working at our dad's company out of pity. There's no way we're keeping someone like you on staff. You're not my son anymore. You're fired, Dad declared. This incident spurred my brother, who had zero skills to begin with, to struggle even more in his job search. Jessica, who was all about the money, was absolutely furious. William, you're useless without money. I want a divorce, she shouted. And just like that, they were divorced. But Jessica wasn't going to escape unscathed either. Dad spoke to Jessica's employer about the whole ordeal. They couldn't keep her on, especially if it meant risking their relationship with an important client. They fired Jessica on the condition that they would continue their business relationship with Dad's company as before. I can't believe this is happening to me. I was supposed to be the boss's wife, living the high life. All those jewels and that mansion, they were supposed to be mine, Jessica wailed. But it was too late. She was also left penniless. Her family knew the situation but had no intention of helping her. Instead, they ostracized her. Hearing all this made me realize that despite thinking I was grown up, I had been naive. I still had much to learn from my parents. I needed to strive to ensure I never became like my brother or Jessica. Luckily, I still had time before I graduated from college.